I know my last few videos have not been performing phenomenally. Screw the analytics, character deep dives haven't been doing that well either, but I gotta get this out of my little brain and into your faces because I can't stop thinking about it. And it's a character from Invincible. And yes, screw the analytics even more. Spoiler warning for season 1 of Invincible. It's not gonna be great for the health of the channel, but I wanna say what I wanna say about Robot and how he's my favorite character from the entire freaking show. I'm coming from the perspective into this of someone who has not read the comics. I'm explicitly talking about the writing of this character for the show. I can't even speak on what is to come to this character down the road. So if, hey, he turns out to be a murderous villain who kills everybody, I don't know that, and I'm sorry I failed to see it coming. But let's talk about his arc specifically for season 1 because I found it to be absolutely extraordinary. Robot represents a very specific type of character we see quite often in media, the repressed, misunderstood, emotionless archetype. But the way this character is more fully unveiled to us is absolutely brilliant. Now, we've seen examples of this even in superhero shows like this before. Raven from Teen Titans comes to mind, someone who on the surface level doesn't show many emotions, but as we get to know them better, we see they are a fully fleshed out, emotional, feeling individual. But Robots, because it's Invincible, is a bit more twisted and nuanced than that. And it's just in this one season of television. So from where we start out, we see Robot as a part of an up-and-coming superhero group who's trying to prove itself in the mean streets of, oh my god, there's an alien invasion every 24 hours land. Robot is doing his best to not only keep his peers alive, taking on a more protective role, but he's also more kind and outreaching than many other members of the team. But those around him don't seem to return the same favor. They treat him as the emotionless robot he appears to be on face value. And this instills something in you, the viewer's mind, at least it attempts to, kind of saying that his programming is why he comes across so nice, but he's not a full sentient individual. He is not actually feeling anything. It's programming, and that's why we all tell our Alexas to go f themselves when they can't understand that I don't want to listen to that song I asked you what the weather. So no matter how polite your Alexa is, you're still gonna yell at it. But then the drama of this season amplifies, and we see him take on a direct leadership role, taking charge of the new equivalent of Invincible's Justice League. And as he comes into this leadership role, the disrespect for him comes to the forefront of the narrative. It's now not just subtle lines in the background, his leadership is outright dismissed, and a veteran of a former Justice League actually pretty much tells him to his face that he will not respect his authority. As narratives tend to go, this results in this team getting beaten pretty severely repeatedly, and specifically Beast Girl, someone that Robot has shown an affinity for, taking a significant amount of damage and being hospitalized. Here it is made clear to the viewer that Robot is actually feeling something. The idea that he is just programming is done away with as he shows clear preferential treatment for Beast Girl. The most observing member of this Justice League crew, that veteran, definitely spots this as Robot is going above and beyond to try and fix Beast Girl and bring her back to health. And it's a bit unclear where exactly this is going until we see two villains aided in an escape from a maximum security supervillain prison. It is unveiled that Robot is actually the one who helped these supervillains escape from their confinement, and what he employs them to do is essentially take a blood sample from one of his fellow Justice League members and make him a body from that DNA, because these supervillains happen to have the ability to do this. And this realization is actually brought to an even higher level when Robot is shown to us to not actually be the robot put in front of us, but a being in a tank that is organic for sure, that controls this robot remotely. So yes, all of that abuse he's been taking, all of the dismissals, have been processed by someone who is an organic individual. More on that in a minute. And there is small details added to the character that mean a lot for these moments, like when he says that breathing actual air hurts him. It's continued layers showing existence is pain for this person who so many are projecting onto and dismissing just because the presentation and surface level are not what we would affiliate with things that need to be treated with kindness. And I love how much you start really just breaking for this person who is committing an act in this moment that I think pretty much everyone would agree is kind of horrible. He's stealing someone else's DNA to give himself a clone body. That's not awesome but you entirely understand and sympathize with why he must do this. So his consciousness is transferred into this new body that is made for him, and he makes it clear that he did this because he saw Beast Girl have an interest in the member of the Justice League equivalent he's in, so he stole the body so that hopefully Beast Girl would like him too, and he made himself a child because she's also perpetually stuck in the state of being a child. There's a messed up side of the psychology to that I'm not going to get into right now, but I want to talk about the repression this character represents and how beautifully it is laid out throughout the season. Because yes, we the viewer are even tricked into kind of dismissing him at first. We just don't care about Robot. Why would you? He's a robot. Then his emotional depths are brought forth, and I bet a lot of us did some mental backtracking and went, I always cared about him. He's emotional, it's fine, as he showed more real preferential treatment and deeper emotions, going to extreme lengths, like the Arctic well-guarded place to find the right medicines needed to heal Beast Girl, also showing that he had done research to know how to heal her above and beyond what he had for others. Now, there's a couple different writing tactics that are being used here that I think are absolutely brilliant to get us, the audience, on the side of Robot. First is he is aggressively caring for a character who is a child in presentation. Beast Girl, no, Monster Girl. Kept making that mistake. Anyway, that immediately gets us on his side because he's shown to be someone who cares and is looking after others and doing a great job of it. From there, Robot is also someone who's literally ending his own life to no longer feel this pain. It's not a transfer of consciousness, it's a cloning. So the original Robot actually dies, duplicating himself in this process, which just slams home how much pain he must have been in to feel this is necessary. That's well executed, and I think a great way to change how the viewers overall are feeling about this character as they grow throughout the season. And once Robot has followed through on his plan to give himself an organic body so that people will stop treating him this way, the full message and the theme here becomes very apparent. His existence, yes, in the tank was pain, but he takes dangerous extreme lengths to bring himself into a human body. He was not doing this before. He was put in a position of power where the discrimination against him became so overt. It became too much, and he had a clear love interest that he could not get if he was not in a typical human body. Which, the framing of this is something I would love a larger discussion around, because we in society still to this day struggle with trying to accept people we know we should, but our own prejudices inside of ourselves prevent us from doing so. And it's an uncomfortable conversation, but it's a very real one. It's something people struggle with and they need to get over. Robot just made it so it was no longer a part of his character and overcame it through something that can be seen as, well, I think it is pretty overstepping and kind of a violation, but was he necessarily wrong to do so when what was being done to him was so mean and life-affecting in all ways? I'm not trying to say there's a right or wrong answer. It's just my read on an interesting conversation brought up by a character that is definitely treading into sensitive topics. But it's amazing to see this show have this character that almost sat in the background for a little bit, but come forth with one, I think, the most emotional and thought-provoking arcs the season had to offer. My only complaint is I wish this arc had had more time to sit with us as viewers. I would have loved to see it play out in a more nuanced, tactful conversation and take the forefront for an entire season, because quite frankly, I found Robot's character and what he's going through more interesting than Mark, and I liked Mark's arc, but I was more paying attention to Robot past a certain point. But the way Robot is written, his frustration with those around him, the assumptions based on his appearance others make about him, it's rough. It's a rough character to fully process and digest all the implications made by him, and I really look forward to seeing where he goes in book 2. And for those who have read the comics, let me know in the comments down below, is this a similar arc he goes through? And if so, do you think it's handled as well as it progresses through the pages that have gone so much further in the overall story? And remember to please be polite while getting into this topic. I'm sure it's sensitive for many people. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.